Yes, guys. What is going on? Episode 3 of Small Talk with your normal host, Isaac Dalgleish, and
Sean Clare.
how are we, Sean?
Yeah, we've got a very special guest today.
Very
Six-time
special.
Paralympic gold medalist.
8-time
Eight-time
marathon winner.
London Marathon winner.
How you doing, boys?
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
So this is called Small Talk, and we're just talking about everything really, about disability sport, mental health, just having a laugh really. How's lockdown been?
To be honest, I've enjoyed it. I learned to cope when I was going through depression, to deal with situations on my own. And then I moved towards Hastings about a year and a half ago. I met my partner and I moved down by the coast. So actually being by the coast it's been a blessing in disguise, I think, mate. Just on my mental health, and plus meeting my partner, she's been a great help as well. So lockdown I was just frustrated that all my races were getting cancelled. That was the only thing. Training wise, it was fine. You know, I could still go out for an hour a day when we had a complete lockdown. And I had my rollers in my garage, so I converted the garage into some sort of training setup. So it actually made me train harder. And because I had no commitments, I couldn't go up to London and do, endorsements for sponsors and, Q&As, which I couldn't do. So, which was frustrating as well because I wasn't making money from that. Yeah. So it's been a two-way thing, but I was all right with it. I didn't mind it. I don't go out to pubs. I don't drink a lot. I don't socialise, only when I see my friends. But to be honest, mate, I do my job. I see my kids every other weekend. I do a lot of stuff with my missus, and I'm happy with that.
Buzzing.
Yeah, it looks good, that, especially with lockdown as well. I think with athletes, people I've spoken to in Sheffield, they've kind of we can't really do much outside of training, so a lot of the intensity it's kind of increased a little bit, especially knowing that obviously Paralympics has been cancelled this year and we've got another year to train and work hard. So I think the motivation, when we heard about it, we thought, oh, okay, what do we do from here? But then I think you get over it and then you kind of, okay, then it's just a different date in the diary. So how did you kind of, when you heard about lockdown, the first one in March, how did you what were your next steps and kind of motivation when you heard about going to another year of training?
Do you know what? I was fine with it. The only thing with me, my age is catching up with me. So, another year of waiting for another Paralympics is a long time for me. You know, the sport of wheelchair racing is growing fast. There's a lot of guys that are, some of them are 20 years younger than me, and they're they're pushing really well and at the top of their game already, which is really early, especially in the marathons and stuff. So it was a bit frustrating at first, but at the end of the day, I had to just deal with it like I deal with everything else. It was more about the marathons before that I was trying to do, to get preparations for the Paralympic marathon. So having no races and then thinking, oh, maybe will it go ahead, was a bit stressful. But I just sat there and I thought that everyone's in the same boat as me. So, no one's different. And then I was just praying that there would be some sort of races, and that's what kept me going in training. I kept knuckling down because, you build up for one race and then it'll get cancelled. Then you're hoping that the next one won't get cancelled, and then it got cancelled. And then when London Marathon sent an email saying that we're putting a race on in October, it was just a great feeling, to be honest, just to do some sort of race. I know it wasn't the best conditions and the wrong time of the year, but it was nice just to get out and do something. So it's been very frustrating with the racing terms, but training wise, it's been all right, to be honest. I just haven't been away as much. which is different. But that calmed down after Rio. Really, I didn't travel a lot after that. I was concentrating on the marathon circuit, so I just did the marathon. So it's been all right. It's not too bad. I just hope it this lockdown doesn't go on any further. I'm missing I suppose I know I said I enjoyed it, but that was the first lockdown. But the second one, I think, if you can't go out to have something to eat, or you might want to meet up with friends just before Christmas to have a couple of beers in a pub. They're the things that will probably get on my nerves a little bit, because I want to go out and mix with people and celebrate with my friends and stuff like I do every year. So that was the only thing that will frustrate me.
Yeah, 100%.
Will Tokyo be your 6th Paralympics, Dave?
Do you know what? I've lost count. Atlanta, Athens, Beijing, London, Rio. Yeah, 6. Right.
So what was talk to about the first one? How was that, like, Atlanta? Because I've read like it wasn't the best for you, and you fell in love with the sport a little bit. And then how did you come back from that?
Atlanta was amazing feeling to go. As a
17 at the time.
Yeah, I just turned 17. So I remember getting a phone call. I think it was on my birthday a few days after, saying that you'd be selected to go to your first Paralympics. So, that was an honour. That's what I dreamt of as a young kid. Going and represent your country and doing well. And it just wasn't. Yeah, when I got there, we went to a holding camp in Pensacola, and it was great. I loved it. The banter with the old school racers. It's different to now. There was a lot of fun and a lot of things going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? So it was all right. But as soon as we got to, the opening ceremony was great. Very busy, packed, and I thought, wow, this is going to be great. And then next day of racing, or next day of competition, there's no one there. It was just like, it was like a Western where you just see like them straw things go across the road. You know what I mean? It was just like, what the fuck's going on then? Do you know what I mean? It's just, or you've experienced it before at competitions. You turn up and IPC promise that they've sold tickets, but they've probably sold 5. Do you know what I mean? It's just that was the situation, and I was gutted. I wanted to, I was watching the Atlanta Olympics, how well it went and how amazing it was, and it's America, and then the Paralympics was just something else. Even the food hall was just terrible. Like the food,
what food was it?
You know what? There was a mixture of slop and just cereal. That's all I can remember. And there was just flies everywhere. It just wasn't nice. It was just like, is this the Paralympics? Is this what it's about? You know what I mean? I thought it was supposed to be on equal par as the Olympics. I always thought that. And I was a bit naive and didn't expect it to be like that. And I did all right. 7th, I think I was in the final of the 100 meters. I was the youngest one there, so I did all right. But coming back, I just didn't think there would be anything in the sport, and I had about 4 years off.
4 years. So did you watch? Was it Sydney after that? Did you watch that?
2000, yeah.
Yeah, so I watched Sydney after partying for 4 years and going clubbing and.
At least you experienced that, though. Not many athletes experience that party side, to be fair.
Yeah, I was just young, and I've always been into my music and my underground music, so it was one of the things that I sort of didn't do. I know I was a bit young to go in clubs. I did go to jungle raves and stuff like that when I was younger, but I didn't experience, doing it on a regular basis. So I chose that instead of sport, and just sat down to watch Sydney Paralympics and realised how amazing it was going to be, and saw the crowd and just thought, well, what am I going to do with myself? I had no job, I had no income, I wasn't, I didn't do well in my exams at school, and it was hard to get a job. I tried to get a job a few times, in factories and stuff, and I just couldn't. They were picking people that were walking mostly, and its discrimination was ridiculous. And I remember going to the job centre, and she said, "Oh, I found another job." I said, "You know what? You're wasting your time. I'm not going to another job interview because I know I won't get it." I said, "It's disgraceful," and that put me on a downer a bit. And then obviously seeing Sydney and the guys doing really well, I just thought I should have been there. So I went back training for a bit, training on my own. I was with two coaches, Chaz and Dan Sadler, which were part of Jenny's group years and years ago. And they helped me get to Atlanta, and I sort of went back and spoke to them and said, could they help me a bit? And they did for a bit, but one went to be a copper, and his dad just didn't have time really. So, and then about a year later, I knew Jen had been coaching again, and I asked if she could help me, and got the ball rolling. And in 2002 that was, and I won the under marathon that year. So, I knew I picked the right coach.
Yeah, I've met Jenny. She's an amazing woman, isn't she? And obviously now you set up the Weir Archer Academy. So just tell us a bit about that. Are you heavily involved in like the coaching side of that at the moment, or because you're still competing, or you're not as much?
Yeah. Monday and Wednesday, so I'm up there when we could. So we've got a new roller centre, indoor training facilities that we raised a lot of money to get, and I got a few bonuses from the marathon. On the charitable side, they matched my prize money, and then obviously because I did 20 marathons in a row, so the sponsors of the marathon, Abbott, who sponsored the world, gave us 20 grand. So we and then we raised money, and we got this indoor roller centre, and we got rollers, and so everyone could use a pair of rollers. I go up there on a Monday and Wednesday. If not, I'm in the garage doing a Zoom training session on a Monday and Wednesday with the guys, and then some of the other guys that are full time will be in Richmond Park in a day as well. It's full on. I wouldn't say I sort of coach, but I'm more of a observer.
Yeah.
I shout orders, or I wouldn't do the coaching plans, or I'd say I would talk about things and deciding what people should be doing now. I had a talk to them last night about training hard, and I've done it for 20 years, non-stop, and it's relentless. You have to every year you have to get hard, get stronger, get faster, because everyone else is catching you up. And I think they realised that after I spoke to them last night. So I just do a lot of talking and just try and inspire them as much as I can. Really, that's my job. Jenny's the coach. Grandson's number 2 as well. So he's got most of his badges. So he's learning from Jenny and me as well. And I mostly do all the technical stuff. Push technique, gloves, chairs, seating positions. So that takes my time. And we've got a good number. We've got a younger group from I think they're from 8 to about 12, and newcomers. So if newcomers come in, they start with the younger group just to get used to the chairs and stuff. We've got a good 20, just over 20 wheelchair races.
Wow, that must be amazing for like the younger them younger guys coming through to have like you to look up to, because 20 odd years ago, I suppose you never really did. You have that sort of like inspiration in wheelchair sport, or?
Yeah, I had role models that I looked up to, like Chris Hallam and Heinz Fry and people like that. So, but I had no one to help me. Like obviously I had Jenny and the guys before that, but equipment wise, I learned the hard way. Get something, then get better, get something new, try it new, and as you get better, people start to help you more. And it's different now, because there's a lot of charities that help the young guys, and they've got the best equipment straight away. I didn't have that. Do you know what I mean? So they've got it quickly. And I think because they get things quickly these days, a lot of the youngsters, you know, with everything so fast, that they think they're going to be the best wheelchair racer in 1 year. It doesn't happen. No. Do you know what I mean? It takes time. It's one of those sports that it takes time, especially in the 54s. You can't be well beaten in a year's time. It doesn't happen. I've never seen it. You know, Daniel Romanchuk is pushing well now. He's been in. I think he's been training since the age of 7. Jeez. So he's 20, but it's still taken him years. You know, when he was a young, a late teenager, he was good, but he wasn't that good. And then he's just gone up and up and up. So it does take time, and you just got to have patience. And that's what I keep telling the kids, that you've got to have patience with it. And if you love it that much, you'll be back every week.
What I want to touch upon is, you know, when you mentioned about when you had a job interview and disability around that time when you were looking for was pretty shit, let's say. When you obviously went to London 2012, your home Paralympics, how was that experience at your home games, having your family, friends, and then into this current situation, the year that we're living in now? How do you feel? Is disability more accepted in this country, do you believe?
Let's start with 2012.
Yeah.
I think, you know, once we got the bid and Sebco was involved and all the guys behind the scenes, I know for a fact that all the sponsors that come on board, Seb and the crew, said that you can't just sponsor Olympic guys. You have to have Paralympians on your books as well. So obviously he didn't say who, but you know, the sponsors had to pick. And that was another step. And I noticed as well, when Seb was doing all his interviews, all his speeches, he always mentioned the Paralympics. We was one. It was Olympic Paralympic program 2012. It wasn't just about Olympics. Oh, and we've got the Paralympics 2 weeks later. We was always included. And that was the first time I started to see inclusion. You know, and it was the first time that every speech that he done, he was mentioning about the Paralympics, and he said it would be the best Paralympics ever from the beginning. So he had to, you know, if he's saying it from the beginning, he had to make sure it was. Yeah. So sponsors coming on board, make sure the tickets are selling, everything, the stadium, the village, everything had to be perfect for the Paralympians as well. And that was the first stage of me knowing that it was going to be the best Paralympics ever. And then the rest is history, unless you want to talk about the racing as well. But
let's talk about so you get 5 goals in London?
No, 4.
4 goals. So let's talk about what was that like to line up on the whole stadium and like the atmosphere, everyone know your name. What was that like?
Do you know what? I was very good at dealing with pressure before London, and I always, going into London, I was probably in the top 5 in the world for most of my events, but I kept coming second to Marcel in Switzerland, and I changed a few things when I come back. So I knew I was in the best shape that I could possibly be in, mentally, physically, everything. I trained really hard. I had a good winter and everything was going well. And the pressure going in, I didn't really feel it, to be honest. I didn't feel any pressure. I didn't feel I had to deliver for anyone else. I just wanted to do it for myself. And I trained myself to make sure that I started with a win, because in Beijing, I know I was ill in Beijing, but I didn't start with a win, and it was always I was trying to catch up and get that first win. So when I come back from Beijing, that was the main target, was the first race I've got to win. It's not my best race. I didn't know what was, you know, the plan was, how the order was going to go. It could have been the 8, it could have been the 5, it could have been the 15. I know the marathon's going to be at the end. So on the track, I didn't know what order it was going to be in. So when they said it was the 5, that was great for me, because it was my worst event. So I had to train even harder for it.
Okay.
So I trained harder for that and the marathon. So I knew I had to get off to a winning start. And going into the stadium, I just knew that even if I lost or come second or whatever, that the crowd will still be, they won't be booing me or anything. They'll be, you know, gearing me up to do well in the next race and the next race. So, but for me, I just wanted to get off to a winning start. And the pressure bit was when I was in the stadium and there'd been a medal ceremony and I was waiting for them to finish. So they told us to warm up on the back straight. And out of 80,000 people, I saw 5 of my friends. And I'm just like, they're waving and I'm just trying to blank them because I don't, and I'm trying to hold in the emotion. So I had to look to the ground and go back to my jaws going. I thought, I've got to get it together. And that was it. And once I was in the race, I just felt really comfortable in the final. And it was
amazing.
It wasn't a perfect race, but it was good enough for a win.
It's amazing how, like, you had Atlanta, that experience in Atlanta, and then you had a home Paralympics, 80,000 people knowing who you are. The Werewolf, you know, you got a book off the back of it, which is an amazing book, and it's just amazing how. Yeah, I have, to be fair. Yeah. Don't quiz me on it. No,
I won't.
But no, it's just amazing how, like, a full turnaround it is, and now you were like a face of a home games.
Yeah, it was. The difference from Atlanta, even Beijing was good. There was a crowd there. It wasn't. You could tell that they were made to go. Do you know what I mean? So you could tell that in London that these were truly sports fans that just love sport and love British people winning. You know, and the atmosphere and the noise. I've never experienced it ever since. I've gone back to race in the stadium at anniversary games, and it's not the same. That there was something with that month of competition in that stadium. It had a buzz around it that I've never experienced in any stadium.
Amazing.
And then, like, the week after of the Paralympics, what kind of emotions did you feel? Like, you've just won your whole home Paralympics, but then everyone's obviously going back to, like, normal life. What kind of, like, the week after did you take? What kind of, did you go back straight to training? Did you know you was going to go to Rio again? Were you going to do another cycle, or?
I just spent time with my kids. I spent time with my friends, a lot of partying. I went to Ibiza as well.
Oh, massive.
Yes.
About 5.
Cal Cox.
5 days after we went to Ibiza, which I've been before a few times, but this was special. We had a good 20 of us that went, and we had a laugh. Met Pete Tong.
Yes.
His manager and stuff like that. Yeah, Wayne Lineker absolutely loved us at his
Ocean Beach.
And I remember afterwards, I think someone asked him on Twitter, who was your best celebrities? And he said, me and Talisa. So, and that was, I was doing shots with him at the bar, and it was quite a crazy 5 days. But it was good. And then I had to come back because my daughter was being born, so I had to be back in time for that. And she wasn't born until October, so I had a busy couple of months after that. More commitments, dinners, pissing people off, not going to things because I felt I shouldn't go to them. That's another story with certain people that I didn't get on with the British Athletics management at the time. Peter Eriksson wasn't my biggest fan, and after 2012, obviously, he wanted to lick my arse and be my best mate. So there was a few things that I didn't agree with. I didn't want to go on the world-class plan for funding, because the way they treated me leading up to London, I said I'd rather starve than take your money. Obviously, I had sponsors and I was doing Q&As, and that was bringing the money in, and so I didn't really want. Well, I could have had their money, but I just didn't want to be told what to do, where to go, what to eat, when to sleep. Do you know what I mean? So, and the way that they treated me before, I just sort of stuck my fingers up and told them to piss off, and I'll do my way on what I want to do now. And that was the first time that I felt like I could say things like that, because I didn't need them, you know?
Yeah, and you also had evidence to back it up that your plan was working.
Exactly. You know, they always kept saying that I'm doing things wrong and I'm doing that wrong and I haven't done, you know, and you know you can't go and see your physio because we've got our physios, and well, your physio's caused me injury, so why would I go to, do you know, it was just things, it was just toing and throwing and telling me things that I can't access St Mary's because athletes don't train out of there. And when I go there, see my physio, my strength, because they've got athletes access in, you know, funding there. So it's just like, well, what's the difference between them and me? And it was just aggro, and I didn't need it. All I want is bloody physio, which it was a physio that was on the program for swimming. So it's not the Paralympic swimmer, you know. So it was just like, he knows Paralympic. It's not a newcomer. He's been with me since 2008, and it was just hard work when it didn't need to be. I wasn't asking for, you know, X amount of funding to go and train in America for 6 months. You know, it was a bit of physio out somewhere else, but no, they didn't. And then after 2012, I just said, the way you've treated me, then I don't want to be part of this organisation. So I didn't turn up for a dinner. They said that they sold a table because they said, I was coming. I said, well, I never said I was coming, so I didn't turn up. It was an awards, British Athletics Awards after 2012. I think I got some trophies, but I never collected them. So, yeah.
So your relationship with British Athletics, how did that affect you going up to the next Paralympics, in 2016?
Well, Paula Dunn has been amazing, to be honest. I love Paula. She's backed me for everything I want to do. She loves the academy. She loves what we're doing. Yeah, I've going into Rio, it wasn't a problem. There was a few coaches that there was one coach that I didn't really like, but I got on with her for the team. And then obviously it all went tits up in Rio. For me, I just feel that there's a lot of jealousy in the sport for what I've done, and I'm still in the public eye, and I think a lot of people don't like it. And that's not my fault. I don't put it in people's face. If you look on my Instagram page, it doesn't say that I've won 10 Paralympic medals, 8 London marathons sponsored by whatever, and that's not me. So I don't know why people get jealous. They just get jealous because maybe I'm a little bit more famous than them. I don't know, but I don't care because that's not me. I'm just doing what I do, and that's it. I don't even have my medals up. My medals are not up. My medals are in a bag.
Yes. Stay humble.
They're in the bag. So I will put them up. I've just bought a house, so I'm moving. So I will put them up my frame. But
where are you moving to?
Just round the corner from where I am now. I'm in Hastings, so I just need a bigger property when the kids come down. So I should be in there just before Christmas. But yeah, going back to Paula and people like that, they were great going up to Rio, but what happened in Rio, telling me that I'm a disgrace to the country and stuff like that because they thought I threw a race, which was the relay, which I'm going for a medal as well. So why would I do it? No one asked me how you feeling, what's wrong. I didn't have a best week. I did one good race, and that was the semi-final of the 400, which I had the fastest time going into the final. And then it just went all tits up, and I don't know why, and I still don't know why. Maybe the pressure, I don't know, from London, I don't know. But, being told that I shouldn't be, not deserving to wear a GB vest again after what I've done for the country, then, from some coach that's not even from Britain. It was a tough time after that, to be honest. I couldn't wait to get home, and I don't like flying, and I couldn't wait to get on a bloody plane to go home. Do you know what I mean? So, it wasn't the best time. But Paula was there, and she helped me, and she believed everything that I was saying. So it doesn't really matter what the others think of me, and that's the thing, and that's what made me move away from track racing. I like the marathon circuit. I get on with the other races, and it just feels a bit more professional and something different. So that's what I love doing.
Very inspirational, Dave. Very inspirational. Now, I think we've got about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to give you one more question, one final bit of advice that you give someone that's listening to this podcast. They're dealing with obviously another 2 weeks of lockdown, maybe further. What would you give to people that might be listening to this, that might be struggling with like what to do tomorrow, or they've been furloughed, or they haven't got any competitions coming up? What advice would you give them?
I know it's a tough time for, you know, mental health, and I know the suicide rate's gone up, and I feel for people like that, because I was at that stage in my life as well. So, you know, you just got to take each day as it comes, have positive people around you, make sure you're doing, you know, if you can't go and meet family members or your friends, do Zoom calls, or get people that make you laugh and feel good. Don't be around negative people. We just hope this lockdown ends soon, so people could just enjoy socializing. You know, it's a big thing. You know, being around people that make you positive and happy, and you know, and just believe in everything. Believe in people that are around you, and stay healthy. Yeah. You know, try and do some training. Try and go walking. Try and do something, because I found, for me, when I was in my, you know, rut where I couldn't get out and stuff like that, I thought it was racing that was making me depressed. I thought it was training that was making me depressed, but I had 8 or 9 months of not doing anything, and it was the worst that I've ever felt in my life. I was so depressed that I couldn't get out of the hole. So once I started training and enjoying myself again, and doing the things that I wanted to do, then that's when I started enjoying life again.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on, David. Pleasure to have you. When I was growing up, you were my hero in the warm-up area, so I just wanted to let you know that.
You need a picture up there then. Take that Gerard shit off.
Send me one, me and you.
Signed canvas.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dave.
No worries,
yeah,
mate.
It's been an honour. Thank you very much.
See you soon, mate. Bye.